Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gullen, talking to my devoted buddy and pal, Tony Shore. How you doing, Tony?
I am so good today, Barb. I just get excited this time of year. I'm going to get to see family. I'm going to get to overeat with
And
no
not be
and
judged.
not be judged by others who will also be overeating around me. I get to go to my brother and sister-in-law's house. My wife's brother, his wife is the best hostess for gatherings and cook and the
That's
food. So I
exciting when you have
know
somebody in the family with that gifting.
I know the food will be incredible. So
Yes.
that's a bonus right there. But that said, I'm doing good. We talked a little before the show. That's the good news. But dealing with a family, my mom and dad, both in their 80s, both in long-term care, both really severe Parkinson's,
Mhm.
at a severe stage for both of them as far as what they're able to do and the
Yeah.
cognitive, the Lewy
It's
bodies
bittersweet,
dementia.
isn't it?
It is. But I'm more than happy to help them. I love my parents. Going to go down and see them for Thanksgiving, probably the day after. So, Barb, how about you? What do you have planned? What's going on in your world?
Well, we will be having Thanksgiving dinner, Thanksgiving Day at my fiance's house with all of our kids. And then that Saturday, I will head up to Omaha to have Thanksgiving dinner with my sister and my mom and the rest of the family there.
Nice.
So I am one of the record, I think 80 some odd million people AAA said are going to be traveling this year for the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, when we drive down to see my parents, that's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive, and I don't like to travel during the holidays if I don't have to. But of course, we're
No.
going to see my parents. But at least we're not flying. You're driving up to Omaha, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not such a
Oh,
bad
yeah.
drive.
No, it's about a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And, all of this brings up one of the other things that we were talking about at the holidays that comes with the holidays is sometimes there's a temptation when the family is around, when the whole family is around, to bring up some uncomfortable topics. And, we can certainly
Yes.
ruffle feathers. And I'm not just talking about
Turkey
who's
feathers.
playing, well, right. And I'm not talking about conflict that revolves around the fact that, you know, who's playing football. Because,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're not talking about the Chiefs and will they be able to pull it together? We're not
well,
talking
no.
about that kind of conflict.
And, here's the thing, the Chiefs play Indianapolis this Sunday. This podcast is going to come out a couple of weeks late. So this part of it is already old news.
Yeah.
Fast forward if you want to. And then we turn around and have to play again on Thanksgiving Day.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
going to be tough.
it is. So all of that to say they're going to be on short rest and they're already on the struggle bus, and everybody is saying that they're going to make or break playoff opportunity, or at least definitely break playoff chances this Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's coming down to this week and next for a lot of teams to
yeah.
see how they're going to end up. And neither one of us, we have a lot, you and I have a lot to be thankful for, Barb,
We do.
in our
We
lives.
do.
But
And I am grateful for, the
sports isn't one
opportunity.
of them, though.
At the moment, I'm glad that I have a life partner whose perspective is much healthier than some people that,
Yeah. And we're
you know,
not going to name names, Eric, but he's a great guy. I
he
love I love Eric. Now, I interrupted you. You were going to say, what are you thankful for? We're not thankful for our sports teams. The Vikings and the
no,
Chiefs are doing not great, but what are you thankful for?
I am thankful for my family. I am thankful that I ended up in a career path that I never imagined, that has given me the opportunity to not only help people figure out how to retire and to retire with some confidence,
Hmm.
but also having the opportunity to give back to other people in the community who need a hand up right now. I
Yeah.
mean, last week we were talking about the collections for Toys for Tots, and there's just so much more going on and outreaches that we're participating in that I never fathomed having the opportunity to give back in the way that we have.
Yeah.
So,
I know you love doing that in the community, and I'm sure many people in the community are thankful for you and the support that you give. But I do love how you're really gone out of your way to make that a big part of what you do
it's one of the
there.
things I'm very intentional about. When
Yeah,
they talk about, when you have the speaker that comes up with the rocks and the pebbles and the sand and the water, and how if you start filling up your jar with the water, you're never going to get the big rocks or anything else in.
sure,
And the big rocks are those main goals, the things that you really need to pursue, that you need to put the big rocks in the jar first, or they're never going to
right,
fit. And
right,
for us, giving back is one of those big rock goals that we focus on very intentionally.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's great. Now, we're talking today, though. You wanted to briefly talk about on the show today what type of family disharmony and family harmony and disharmony and
Right.
creating ruffling feathers over the holidays. What do you mean by that?
Well,
What are some examples?
it is a stressful time of year for everybody.
Hmm.
Financially, people are really feeling the pinch this year, perhaps more so than they have in a long time. And along with that financial stress, we also have other stressors that end up popping up like little moles. So, we end up with sometimes we are at the point where we realize that our marriage is over and we need to perhaps make some changes in that arena. You don't want to do it in the middle of the holidays. So you've got a lot of people that are gritting and bearing it and gritting their teeth until we get past January 1st.
Hmm.
And then they're going to make those plans to file for divorce, move out, separate, do something like that. You have family dynamics going on where maybe you haven't seen your parents or your grandparents in a while. And while stuff is going on, you notice that they're slipping cognitively, or you realize that their health isn't where it needs to be. Maybe you're seeing signs that the house hasn't been kept up very well, and nobody's talking about how people are slowing down and aging, and that there might need to be some changes.
Yeah,
Mom and dad might need to move into an assisted living, or you might need to hire help so that mom and dad aren't shouldering it all themselves.
yeah.
I mean, you have been walking this out with your parents for, gosh, since we started this podcast
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been over 3 years. My mom's been in
Hmm.
probably almost four into long term care now
Yeah.
because of her Parkinson's. And my dad also has Parkinson's, and he just moved from assisted living to long term care. And it's
Mm.
that transition hasn't been going well.
A little
Uh,
bumpy, huh?
yeah, but you're right. I mean, you mentioned before, and it's the holidays, and people don't want to talk about a downer. But I think a good point is don't make a holiday gathering about you or about issues. Try
Right.
to, it's though Thanksgiving is probably a time when you should try to create family harmony and not bring up, you know,
Hmm.
issues.
Right.
Don't talk politics.
No.
That's my number
No,
one rule.
and
Yeah.
while we're trying to smooth some of those ruffled feathers,
Yes.
throw back to today's
Sure.
podcast title,
Sure.
um, it's important to keep things in perspective. Everybody is feeling the pinch of inflation and the tariffs and costs going up. the holidays do not have to be this over the top financial spend. And if you need to throttle back a little bit from what you normally do or what you feel like you normally have to do, it's okay. People are going to understand. I was watching a news story where people were talking about grocery spending for the holidays and how some people were talking about paring back. Um, Food pantry resources in the Kansas City area have been stretched. Many of them, because of the government shutdown and and SNAP benefits being delayed and everything else going on, literally doubled the number of families that they were serving.
Wow.
So it might not help to know that you're not the only one in this situation,
Yeah.
but there are plenty of other people that can empathize and know what's going on. And if you're on
Yeah.
the other side of this and you have it within your means to give a little extra this year, please do so,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of families that are going to need a lot of help. The Kansas City Dream Center earlier this past week helped, I think, close to 200, if not a little bit over 200 families with Thanksgiving dinners, and the cars were lined up an hour before they were even scheduled to open.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that. The news has been showing a lot of that. And I know that people are pitching in, and that's good. We all need to do that,
Mhm.
and provide support if you can do it,
Mhm.
because they're in desperate need. I think that's great. And I know you're doing the toy drive,
Mhm.
and yep.
Yep,
And
and getting ready to we'll be out at the Christmas tree lighting for, Fort Leavenworth here
oh,
in a couple
yeah.
of weeks, probably about the
Nice.
time this podcast drops,
Sure.
actually. So, we will get to serve that community as well this year. We're a
Yeah.
sponsor for that event. Um, but if you know that you are gonna be making significant changes in your life next year, take some time for yourself and try to carve out a little solitude time
Hmm.
and consider the ramifications of it. If you are considering a divorce, understand that you're not the only one going through this. You don't have to go through it alone. There are support groups around, there are coaches that can help you through the process. Um, and it is okay to prioritize your needs as you're going through this. Savor these moments because your kids, if there are kids involved, um, your kids deserve to have peace in
Yeah.
all of this. And quite honestly, so do you.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So,
I like your point that, no matter what, if you're going through things at the holidays, you're not alone.
no.
And sometimes family can stress people out. Some people love being around family, but then, and I think sometimes alcohol can contribute it too.
Oh,
That's one thing you should do is,
absolutely.
yeah, Thanksgiving isn't an excuse to drink. So save that for New Year's Eve. You can have a drink. You can have a drink or two, but if we could, rein it in, because certain people, you might say something you regret if you drink too much, and you don't want that to ruin a family holiday, right? I mean,
Right. And, just, use the opportunity to savor the time that you have with the family that you value.
yeah,
And for those of you that don't have families that are listening, my heart goes out to you. And I would hope that you could find an opportunity maybe to volunteer or to create. I love this whole concept of a Friendsgiving and
Friendsgiving, yeah.
Friendsgivings and people getting together. And, I guess we kind of did that with our holiday party. Not that I would call it that, but maybe that's what I will call it next year.
I think for what you did, Barb, I think that's a good name for it. And I know Jacqueline, who also works in the radio department here
Mhm.
with me, she's doing a Friendsgiving. She had to go home and make a sweet potato dish with the melted marshmallows on the top or the roasted
That's funny. I'm in charge of sweet potatoes for the Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday.
Oh, do you
I
do it with the marshmallows on top? You know how the toasted marshmallows on top?
I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but that won't fly in this house.
Oh,
So
okay. Got it.
I
Got
think
it.
I'm going to make a sweet potato souffle.
Oh, wow. That's really, that sounds impressive. That's
So
awesome.
it's got
Yeah. But
pecans in
Friendsgiving
it,
is,
and
oh, pecans. Wow.
yeah,
Wow. You're going for it. Well, yeah.
yes.
And she's having a Friendsgiving with all her friends this weekend, the week before
Mhm.
Thanksgiving weekend. So, and I thought Friendsgiving, I hadn't really been that familiar with that, but and I've heard a couple people mention it now. And so it is a trend that is going around. I think that's great.
So, it's important, our phones have overconnected us and disconnected us
Yes.
simultaneously.
Yep.
And perhaps one of the best things you can do as you're getting together with family over the holidays is to put the phone down and to just be present and in the moment
Be present.
and enjoy that time that you have.
Yes. Yeah. That's really good advice. Well, Barb, a great show today. Try to keep that family harmony throughout the holidays. And this is the time of year when a lot of people and these family gatherings bring up the feeling of, people are trying to decide, should I get divorced or should I
Mhm,
get out of this situation or I don't, people have these feelings during this time of year and sometimes it's when it comes to a head.
mhm.
And so I think just it's a time to reflect, but know you're not alone. Get the help you need. And I think that's really good, Barb.
Yes.
But for our listeners and viewers out there
Mhm.
who have questions about their finances
Yes.
or retirement income planning,
Or
their
figuring out what you need to do if mom and dad need that extra bit of help.
yes. Yeah, that's a big thing. And that can really come to a head over the holidays, too. You can really see, wow, mom and dad
Mhm.
really aren't what they used to be. How can we
Yes.
help them? And I think that's important. So if our listeners want to set up a no charge, no obligation consultation with you and your team there at BG Wealth, how can they do that?
They can always reach out to us at our website. That's bgwealthmanagement.com. Or you can call us at area code 913-553-6222. Select option 4 for the appointments and scheduling team. And Christina or another member of our team will reach out to you and set up a no obligation consultation with either myself or one of our other qualified fiduciaries.
All right. Well, Barb, great show today. A lot of good information. And I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with
The
your
same to
family.
you, Tony.
Safe
The
travels.
Yes, same to you. Because
Thanks.
we won't be talking next week. You will
No,
be on your way to be with your family.
I will be. Yeah.
So,
Yep. All right, Barb. We'll convene. We'll have a new show, not next week, but the week after Thanksgiving. So,
yep.
all right. Thanks,
All
Barb.
right. We'll see you soon.
And that does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Gullen.